What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Six Gaming Podcast. This is episode 138. Glad to have you guys with us. Filling in for your host, as always, it's Ronkly. This was supposed to be Shosan's return date, but I figured something out. Unfortunately, what's going on is that additional co-hosts right now are behind a paywall, and I would have to spend like $60 for each additional co-host. So I've got our default co-host. He's still awesome and illustrious, guys. We got Solo Mail. How's it going?
It's going great. Like I'm sure glad that you paid me like that. Thanks.
Yeah,
I really need it.
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't be paying you. I'd be paying EA, wouldn't I?
Well, I did get $5, so that's pretty
good.
Get
$5. There you go. So we're gonna start the show off as we always do. This is Shosan's favorite part of the show. Don't know where he is. He's supposed to be here. He said he's going to be back, and he hasn't even said why he's not here. So screw that guy, right?
Yeah, screw him. We don't need him. Just because he has show in his name doesn't mean he's going to be good.
Yep. We have news. We have oh boy, we have a lot. I'm going to take my glasses off now because EA.
Yeah. Okay, on a better note, Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out.
I'm about to walk off the set, ladies and gentlemen. I'm that close.
Yay,
I am that close.
The show.
Yeah. Oh my god. What the hell is EA thinking, man? Okay, so we talked about EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 last week and all of the hoopla over that, and they decided to respond to a particular to one person on Reddit complaining about how much it takes to unlock Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and all that. And it was incredible corporate BS. I mean, it was just ridiculous how bad it was. It was so bad, it has now become the most downvoted comment in Reddit history.
Yeah, by a gigantic amount.
Yeah, it's not by a small amount either. They didn't just squeeze them out. I'm going to the thread now because I want to see how much it's up to. It is up to minus 675,000 points. That is more than 5 times the previous record holder. Not 5, 50. 50, I'm sorry. I think the next one was like around 10,000 or something, 12,000 or something ridiculous like that. So EA, congrats on being a shitty game company. Yeah, so after this, they get all this downvoted, all this downvoting. They get all the negative press, so on and so forth. I mean, there's been so many stories about this. I think like 4 or 5 stories was posted on this. They were saying something about change being some kind of constant in Star Wars Battlefront 2. Who knows what the F they're talking about here? But they were saying that they're going to change some things at launch. They were going to reduce the amount of credits needed to unlock the top heroes by like 75%. So Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader are now 15,000. Palpatine, Chewbacca, Leia are 10,000. Iden's 5,000. Stuff like that.
So Lumpy is 100.
Yeah, so stuff like that. How do you know this?
You know what?
How many credits it is?
Lumpy?
Yes.
Actually, hasn't been announced yet.
Okay.
You can tell I was making a joke.
You don't actually have the game, do you? Oh my god.
You know who Lumpy is, right?
I have no idea who Lumpy is.
Lumpy is the one of Chewbacca's relatives in the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, I've not watched that, and I've been told to not watch that, so I'm not going to watch that.
And by the way, all this kerfuffle has left me with one question: what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
What?
Look in the chat.
What about the droid attack on the? I have no idea.
I posted a thing in chat.
I have no idea what that means.
Dang it. I guess a joke doesn't make sense without chat. Take it.
It doesn't. But still, I mean, it's ridiculous. People have found out that unlocking everything in Battlefront 2 requires 4,500 plus hours or $2,100 if you want to buy it. Except, oh wait, you can't buy it anymore. EA took that away right before launch because of all the negative feedback. But they said they're going to put it in later. What?
Yeah, I heard that the reason that they're doing that is like they they make it sound like they're removing microtransactions so that people buy it, and then they'll have high stock prices and everything, and for the shareholders and stuff, all that stuff.
It's terrible. And then one last thing on this. Someone on Twitter posted that as a developer of the game, they were receiving death threats and stuff like that. Except, it turns out the guy doesn't work for EA.
Plot twist.
Yep.
Someone on the internet lied. Holy moly.
But yeah, don't believe everything you read on the internet, kids. So Electronic Arts, shitty gaming company, they can get wrecked. So yeah, EA is just I don't get. We'll talk about them a little later, but yeah. So in other news of gaming companies doing shitty things, Bethesda has decided to block the release of the mod Skyrim Together, which is a multiplayer Skyrim mod on Steam. So you can't get this mod on Steam. You would have to get it manually and install it, which obviously would be not ideal for getting this mod out there for people to play. So no word on why they blocked it. It's interesting.
I don't know. Maybe they didn't feel like they were getting enough attention with all the stuff regarding EA.
Right? Yeah. I mean, Skyrim. I mean, you can practically play this on like a Commodore 128. It's available for like 27 different platforms at this point. It's like, just make your next game, guys. Let the past be the past. Move on. So yeah. So that's Bethesda. ESRB is doing something kind of dumb here. So one of the things that one of my personal favorite games did, Sublevel Zero, they made a boxed edition through a specialty publisher that does this for small companies, and it was kind of cool. They were able to. They called it the Signature Edition for PlayStation 4. So it was really neat. But ESRB is now going to charge a fairly hefty fee to do this per title, not per number of copies you make. So basically what this means is that the Star Wars Battlefront 2 that sells 18 gazillion copies is going to be able to pay this paltry fee, what to them is paltry, of like 3,000. But you get these little companies that might sell like 50 of these things. They're not going to want to pay 3,000 for that. So we might see these specialty publisher box editions going away. And it's not really clear why they're doing this, but it just seems to be more like a money grab. Now, the interesting thing about ESRB, it's not required by U.S. government to have an ESRB rating on your game. But the problem is that the retailers follow this. And if you don't have an ESRB rating or you have a bad ESRB rating, you're going to be not put on the front shelves or anywhere accessible, or maybe not even sold by a retailer like that. So yeah, ESRB is pretty important for that reason alone. It's a completely corporate entity. So
yeah, it's a real huge bummer, but at least pretty much all smaller games are digital now, so it's not like a massive problem.
Yeah, I mean, games will still get made. This isn't going to help. This isn't going to prevent games from being made or sold. But having that novelty of having an actual boxed edition of an indie game is probably going away because of this. So ESRB being jerks, and the country of Belgium is considering classifying games such as Overwatch and Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I would imagine the recent Lord of the Rings game, as gambling.
And if you think that they shouldn't be classified as gambling, then you obviously don't have one of those addictive personalities, you know?
Yep. Loot boxes, despite their inherent randomness, are not a form of gambling according to the ESRB. And a couple other places have agreed, like PEGI, Yuki, the UK government, maybe a little less firmly, stuff like that. But the Belgium Gaming Commission is investigating whether that should be the case. And if that happens, if it's classified as gambling, that means that these games are being sold illegally in Belgium, and these games would have to pay a lot in fines, which would suck for them. And basically, it would also pressure other regulators to try to do the same thing. So Belgium might be pushing to turn this around. Personally, I don't really know if this is good or bad. The fact that this is going to affect individual games kind of sucks, but we've talked about the whole loot box pandemic, microtransactions, and so on and so forth. Maybe this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think that it'll if changes like this start to be more widespread, then we'll see a lot less these types of microtransactions. So
yeah,
one thing that used to be a huge problem in the industry that we don't see anymore is online passes, for one.
Oh, geez, like season passes and stuff like that.
No, I'm talking about like online passes where the online part of the game is only accessible with with a code you get with the game.
Oh, yeah.
You can't use it more than once, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of silly. Like, that's been a while since that happened. But yeah, it's interesting what they're doing with that. So we'll keep an eye on that, see where the legality of these loot boxes go. So it'll be pretty interesting. And then in some more suckage, Walt Disney Company is going to shut down the Marvel Heroes.
I tried it. It wasn't really my thing, but it's kind of sad.
Yeah, what type of game is that again? I'm just trying to look for the story.
It's like Diablo.
Oh yeah,
but with Marvel.
Yeah, they're just going to be shutting it down. I mean, you're not going to be able to play it anymore, which kind of sucks. And then we have some more suckage in the form of movies, and
quote unquote suckage.
The fucking Rock is going to star in a Rampage movie. Do you even know what Rampage is?
Yeah, I seen a couple people talk about it.
Have you ever played it in the arcades?
No, I've barely ever played any arcade games in the arcades.
So basically, to give you an idea what Rampage is that it's a 3-player cooperative game, and you play the role of a monster. One of them's like a werewolf, the other's a dino, the other's a gorilla. And your job is to smash the city. You climb buildings, you smash the walls, you grab people out of them, and all the while you're getting shot at by soldiers and stuff like that. Well, Rock's playing the role of one of those soldiers, right? And they're going to try to make some kind of story around this game. And I just can't see this coming out good at all.
Yeah, what if they made like a GTA movie where the main character is one of the policemen? Basically, I
don't think that's necessarily the same comparison. But basically, what I think this is an excuse to make a movie with lots of explosions and try to rake in some cheap cash.
Yeah, because I guess they figured, hey, let's see if we can find a game where the concept is similar to movies that made a ton of money. Ba boom, Michael Bay, ba bam, done.
Yeah, this feels. I don't think Michael Bay's doing it, but it feels Michael Bay-ish.
Yeah, I'm saying that it's similar to Michael Bay stuff.
So yeah, and then Nintendo, gonna Nintendo. They're closing in on a deal for a Super Mario movie. Now, I'll put a disclaimer out. If it's based on the animated series and I think it's animated, right?
Oh, why wouldn't
live
it?
Action. Because
why would Illumination make a live action Mario movie? How would that even work?
Why would anyone make a live action Mario movie after the way the last one went?
I'm asking an actual question here, not a rhetorical one. Why would Illumination Animation Studios make a live action movie about something that's primarily animated?
So I don't have to worry about that. Thank you. That's good. So that means we don't have to put up with that horrible alternate world that was made and that I want to forget about, because that movie was terrible.
All right, so real talk about this topic. I honestly think that Illumination will probably do a good job at this because like they're like the last time they adapt, like the other time that the only time I could that they adapted something that I can think of was the Lorax, and the problem with that adaptation is it didn't represent like the source material in a way because like it didn't quite get the subtleties of the source material that was coming from. But Mario, like you can't really mess up a Mario story. I think that if they if, it wouldn't take a lot of effort for them to come up with a decent enough concept
Yep.
and everything, and I don't think that would be any better than 5 out of 10, but still.
Yeah, and to give you an idea, I mean, this, if you're not familiar with Illumination, these are the guys that did Despicable Me 1, 2, and 3. Minions are going to be doing Minions 2, Secret Life of Pets. We mentioned the Lorax, stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
And some of these movies have made a shit ton of money. Like Despicable Me 3, $1 billion. Minions, $1.1 billion on a $70 to $80 million budget. That's pretty good. That's a lot of money. So these guys know how to entertain. So if they're able to do a halfway decent Mario movie, maybe it'll be good. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm guessing it'll be better than the Ratchet and Clank movie.
I don't remember that one, thankfully.
Oh, it's basically cutscenes from the game put into into a movie theater.
Nice.
I'm not even kidding.
That's silly. So yeah. So hopefully that's the end of us having some bad news today. And that one's not so terribly bad. Hopefully Illumination will hit a home run. The Rocket Rampage, I can't see that. That's going to be awful.
I've got good news, and it's local news too.
What's this?
I borrowed I'm just wanted to say that I borrowed a subwoofer and speakers, and I'm doing far better at the whole cave story rebalancing thing than I was before, because now I can be sure about how the bass sounds and everything.
Yeah, it works. So yeah, let's see what else we got today. We have the Hitman series is coming to Hulu. Be done from the creator of John Wick. So if you're interested in a series like that, there you go. And this is I laughed when I read this. The creator of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has gone on record saying, I don't know if we deserve the Game of the Year award.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how runaway hits work like that. So a lot of the times they're not the best, but they're just interesting for a reason.
That's the thing. That's the thing, though, is that PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds is going to go down in history as a cultural phenomenon. I can't talk. You know what word I'm trying to say. It's a big
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon.
Phenomenal.
It's a cultural phenomenon. So phenomenon. Sorry. Yeah, so they're thinking that there were much better games released, and they don't deserve having a Game of the Year award. I would disagree with them. I would say if you affect the gaming culture as much as you have, it doesn't matter if your game's even good. In my opinion.
I think that you're right. Like just polish on and on its own isn't enough to cause something to deserve Game of the Year.
Yeah, I saw that Cuphead won a whole bunch of Xbox awards, including a Game of the Year of their own. So a bunch of good Game of the Years going out. So, and just a bit of news. The only Blizzard news we have: Moira is now available in Overwatch. I can play the OPAF healer.
Yeah, it looks like she's a mashup of Mercy and dang, I don't even know his name because I never played Overwatch for more than 2 hours.
Who?
The other healer, the guy with music.
Oh, Lucio.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I know them. And they will be coming to Randomonium on the 6 Gaming server, Discord server. So check that out over at 6.gg. Anyway, and then the final thing, the only thing esports related we got this week, how about the Drone Racing League having their qualifiers and was it the Swatch team? It was like one of the teams is giving a spot in the Professional Drone Racing League to a player who wins a tournament that they're having in the Steam game called Drone Racing League Simulator. I think this is badass.
Yeah, it's like the closest we can get to something like F-Zero in real life.
Absolutely, it's really cool. And some of the courses that they have are they're insane. They look really badass. I have to find. I have a friend up in Alberta who likes this kind of thing. I wonder if he's in on this. I'll have to check with him. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So that's gonna do it for news this week. Unless you got anything more.
I can't think of anything. Well, we could talk about Ultra Sun Ultra Moon.
Moving on. The next part of the podcast is Shosan's favorite part of the podcast, and I hate to tell you this. There's only 2 more episodes this year that we're going to be calling it the playlist.
What?
Yeah, because in December we have to call it something different.
Oh,
it's that. I'll save it for then because I don't really. I want to fight Christmas creep. I don't want to be a part of it. So I'm just gonna back off from it for now. But this is a playlist. We can talk about what we've been playing. And Solo, you've been playing some Necrodancer. I see.
Yeah, I've been doing a daily a day basically. Like I don't really have the patience to play anything harder. Like I can beat stuff like area all zones if I had that patience, but I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like
Arya's a bitch anyway. You don't want to play her.
Yeah, exactly. So
don't tell Bulletnik I said that.
Maybe. So, anyways, so today I got a pretty good run. I got Crown of Greed early, which I haven't actually been trying with the dailies, which I really should be. And I managed to get over 1,400 gold and 4th place for now.
That's pretty. I will say this: that's a pretty weak leaderboard if it's only 1,400.
Yeah, I know. Like I said on Squeaka's stream, everyone that's good at the game has stopped doing the dailies, so it's not much of a on the top 10.
That kind of sucks. But
yeah, but it might be top 20 by the end, like by the end of the daily period thing.
Yeah, we'll see. It's a fickle thing, the daily.
And also, speaking of patience, hopefully I'll have more patience with getting good score than you do.
Yeah. Yeah. So you ended up playing. When did you get that score, the 9,000 score?
I don't know. I think it was during one of my deathless attempts.
Oh, okay. I don't think the scores save in deathless.
I thought they did.
So it must have been another time. But anyway, yeah.
Because I was sure that I didn't get fast any faster than any slower than like I thought that I got 30 minutes during the deathless as well because I did a lot of cadence deathless runs. I completed like something like 40 runs total, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, something like that.
So, but yeah, and then Solo here had to go taunting me and Squega on Twitter. Hey, I got a better score than these 2 guys.
I just wanted to, I wanted to see how I compared to people on my friends list, and it turns out that the only other 2 people on my friends list that had finished Kane Sol zones were you and Squeega. So I was like, hey, look at this! I got a better score than both these guys that are way better at the game than I am.
So when I was supposed to be taking a shower and stuff like that, I decided to instead play Necrodancer. And the first game ended horribly because I got Red Dragon pretty quick. But the second game I finished and ended up with 14,000. So that was actually like half trying. I didn't even get a gold weapon until late. I wasn't even clearing floors because I was like, okay, I have to get ready for the podcast. I know I can get a 5-digit score pretty easily. So and it happened. So I'm probably not going to be very competitive with score running because I don't have the patience for score running.
And I don't have the patience for any character harder than Cadence. So.
There you go. So there you have it.
By the way,
anything else you've been playing?
Nothing else. Just want to mention that, like when I saw your message on Discord and I saw that you were playing Crypt of the Necrodancer, I immediately, I just want to say that I immediately, went on to try to get a good score run. And then my first run, I got the Crown Greed first. Got a golden harp and later golden spear, had a bunch of health, and then I got messed up by a swamp creature. And
those freaking tar monsters are terrible. I feel for you there. So
yeah,
but yeah, I've been obviously a little bit of Crypt of Necrodancer. I'm going to be going back to all characters pretty soon, but I was playing that. I must have been playing something else earlier this week. I don't remember what it was. I think I played a little bit of tempo to try to get away from the other things I was doing because I had the Shots Fired Marathon this week. and it's a lot of fun. I played Sub-Level 0 on Tuesday. Got a 23-minute time, which is 3 minutes off world record, PB, which is awesome. Then I played Death State on Friday, and I was terrified for Death State because up until Friday, I was about 50-50 as to whether I could finish a run. And I was terrified. I was thinking, I'm going to have bad RNG. I'm going to end up throwing the run. It's going to be awful. I'm going to look stupid. I don't get anxiety, right? Like really bad anxiety. And I was really trying to stave it off with the Death State run because it's like last time I was on Star Creep. I was on a very familiar character. I was on a character I can low percent the freaking game with. And Seeker is just completely different because you don't have the safety of the teleports. So I get into Shots Fired on Friday, and I had like 3 hours worth of practice. I only lost one game in that 3 hours. And then I get into the marathon, and the game gives me a melee build immediately. Seeker is not a melee character. So I was pretty terrified. But I had enough practice throughout the day with similar builds that I gave it a shot. And it was basically you had the ruby weapon, and then you had a item that caused the fire that the ruby weapon does to basically spin in a circle around you. And it's super overpowered on bosses because it increases the number of shots you're doing, therefore increases the damage. So late in the zone 2, I end up picking up a Fireball Tome, and that changed the build from extremely dangerous to extremely overpowered. And I just flew through the rest of the game like it was nothing. I ended up with like 7 hearts by the end of the game. I completely no-cycled the boss. I didn't get any black holes. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then I played Monolith. I don't remember. I think my Death State run was sub 15, which is kind of what I was aiming for, even though my estimate was about 20 minutes. And then Monolith, I had a 15-minute estimate for that, and pretty much breezed through that game. I mean, I felt like I had more to talk about that game than I had time to talk about. So I ended up breezing through that one in about 13 minutes. It was like my 4th best time ever in the game, so it was pretty good. And yeah, Shots Fired it's a lot of fun. It's a good experience to be doing that kind of speedrunning. I'm just glad Death State worked out. Other games, been playing a little bit of Creeper World every now and again. I'm still trying to 100% that game. I'm at 113 out of 139 achievements. And the rest of the achievements are all grindy achievements. So it's not like nothing. I did all the challenge achievements. So it's just a matter of time at this point. I finally finished Hex Cells Plus from, I don't even remember where I got these games. The Hexcel series might have been the Humble Bundle a while back, but I finished Hexcells Plus. Maybe I'll work on Hexcells Infinite soon. Who knows? We'll see. And Nuclear Throne. I think I mentioned this last week. They released Update 99. I've been playing that pretty sparingly. I'm probably pick this up a little more. Diablo 3. Been playing the season a little bit. Not so much this week, just simply because of Shots Fired. And then, of course, Ingress. I'm playing a lot of Ingress. I got my bike repaired. I got lights for it. I got my odometer repaired. I got a phone holder for it. So now I just take my bike, I go outside, I find some portals and wreck some resistance. It's pretty fun. It's kind of hard to explain. It's nice because I need the exercise personally. Just because diabetes, overweight, etc. And it's nice to have that kind of outlet for that activity. So yeah, and then of course the Anomaly's coming up beginning of the next month, so I'm really trying to prepare for that. So that's just about it. So with that, we're going to move on to the third half of the show. This is Shosan's favorite part of the show. We're sorry you're missing it, bro. I don't know where you are. I hope you're okay with whatever you're doing. So yeah, this is the third half of the show. This is 6 Gaming Roundtable. We're going to ask a brief question.
Yeah, it's not very round with only 2 people.
It is, yeah. Well, the thing is that we've only had a round table like a couple times, and then the guy got rid of it. So this is my table's kind of L-shaped. It's not really round. So I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna ask a question about gaming and hopefully get some input about it. And of course, this whole EA scandal is kind of ridiculous. And EA's been known for a while as being pretty bad at making games.
Sim City, Sim 4.
City, yes.
There's a couple.
I mean, there's a lot. A couple things that they've done with their sports games, like how they keep releasing the sports games every year and not changing a whole lot, stuff like that.
And how they should be renamed to Ubisoft Arts as well.
Ubisoft Arts.
You know, Unicron from Transformers.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
because they assimilate small game companies and destroy them.
PopCap, anyone? So here's my question: what does EA have to do to not be a bad gaming company anymore? And can they pull it off?
Well, all depends on how much they care about their PR to, stop doing stuff like the pay to win stuff, the pre-order stuff, Yeah, just general stuff that people like that's just general stuff that's bad for the gaming industry.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of. I mean, I'm on one hand, I don't really like pre-orders in terms of how some companies do it. But if there's like this game I'm like really, really excited about and I'm really supportive of the developer, I'll probably end up pre-ordering something. I've done that with a couple of Blizzard titles, for instance. But like EA is not the kind of company I'd do that with because, and I've had a couple people on my Twitter feed, get burned by this because they pre-ordered the Star Wars Battlefront game and then it came out how bad it is in terms of the unlocks, and they canceled it. They canceled the pre-orders. They're like, I'm sick. I don't want to support this. And I really think that EA's got a couple of things that they have to take care of. First of all, and I think this is the biggest one, is they need to take care of their work environment. I think that's the biggest one by far. They need to take care of the people that actually make these games.
Yeah, like a lot of people try to defend this stuff and claim that it's what's required for these businesses to keep operating, but they sure don't pass it on to anyone other than the higher ups.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, we've heard about this with the Madden series and stuff like that. I've experienced this with a friend that's actually worked for them. I had a friend that worked for them during the SimCity launch, the most recent game, and they were in product development. They weren't even a programmer. And she ended up having to do what every single person in the company had to do was to take a shift and watch graphs for 8 hours and make sure that the server stayed up and call people when they weren't and stuff like that. And this was in addition to their normal hours. And then, of course, developers. I mean, we've heard horror stories about how developers work super long shifts, especially when they promise that a game's going to be released by a certain date, and they have to cram all that work into a very small amount of time, and the work-life balance just goes right in the toilet. Stuff like that. And this isn't just EA that has this problem. There's been articles recently published about how this is a problem in the gaming industry in general. But EA is one of the worst at it. And if they fix that, I think that will go a long way to changing the culture within the company and maybe trickling down to other things like, how they're approaching these games, because it almost seems like the way these press releases and the way they're like their Reddit posts read, they're completely out of touch with gamers. Completely. It's terrible. So I don't know.
Like they just need to realize that people are getting more and more aware of these kinds of practices and what their effect is.
Yeah, and it's pretty awful. I think if they do that, it'll help. But then also the people in charge, like I said, the fact that they're completely out of touch, they need to figure out what gamers are doing. Like, for instance, the people at Blizzard are gamers completely. And they put passion into what they do. I don't see that out of EA.
Yeah, because they're like the people making these decisions aren't developers. They're people who command developers.
Hmm. Yeah, pretty much. And even then, I mean, it's like, do these people even play these games? I don't
I don't
know.
think they really know about games, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty awful. Um, so there's that. And in terms of like some of the games themselves, I think one of the things that they talked about recently doing with, say, the Madden series and the FIFA series is knock it off with the yearly releases, and basically do like a Windows 10 approach. Make your final release, and then support it and add on to it and improve it when you can, not necessarily on an annual basis and make people pay for it over and over. Um, the downside to that is that sounds like they might end up making a monthly subscription. Um, I'm now, are people passionate enough about the Madden and FIFA series to turn it into like a subscription based thing? Maybe not. It surely turn off casual players though. Like my brother, for instance, he's not a professional player or doesn't play Madden more than a few times a year, but he gets some fun out of it. And if they were to do this kind of thing, it might backfire on him. Who knows? So we'll see what they end up doing with that. And they're also, I mean, I don't really have any specific examples to cite, but some of their technical work is lagging behind some other game companies pretty badly. So it seems like maybe they need to get some, and maybe they're having a problem getting better developers because of how much their name's been dragged through the mud. That could be another thing. So EA's got a lot of work to do to turn around.
And like one other thing that's preventing them from getting developers is just because of how many developers they've shut down. And so, of course, like any developer who decides, yeah, we'll sell we'll sell ourselves to EA, are like, okay, maybe we'll actually not do that because we'll probably get the thing destroyed.
That completely depends on, do you want money or do you want to be successful? And some people equate money with success.
Yeah,
So
I think that like it just adds that extra, like do we want to risk our like IP dying and our studio dying into the mix, which a lot of developers probably don't want happening.
yeah, so it's pretty um they're in a pretty dire situation, I think. Unfortunately, because of how big they are, it might be a while before they start, having trouble within the company itself, to the point where they're starting to lose money and stuff like that. But it's like right now they're a freaking cash cow, and I think that when that starts to change, that's when EA is going to start making changes, or they don't and they go out of business. Either way. But
Well, if
EA's to the point where there's a reason they're considered one of the worst gaming companies.
well, like the thing that I'm thinking of right now is the video game crash of like the 80s. Like I'm thinking that at this point that the industry is so multifaceted and like so huge that if there's a crash, it's going to be individual companies, and so in that case, like like well, of course, there's going to be lots of jobs being lost, but other than that, good riddance.
Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they'll take down the industry like Atari did, because Atari was like the biggest by far.
Yeah, like
then.
I think that the thing that caused the huge crash is that Atari was the only real uh, the only real contender, and
Yep.
when they crashed, everything crashed.
Yep, pretty much. That's not going to be the case now, but yeah, I mean, maybe that needs to happen to EA. We'll see. So I don't know if they can turn it around. They have a lot they have to do, and I think it starts from within. So we'll see what happens. Anything else you have to add to the subject at all?
Not that I can think of.
So I guess with that, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up.
Oh,
Thank
wait.
you.
Well, there's the whole net neutrality vote thing.
Yeah, that's coming up in like a month or so.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal, though.
Yeah, and this is not the first time we've had a vote like this. So yeah, they're looking to kill it off again. Maybe we'll get into more details on it next week. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm in a state like I'm in Texas, and my representatives aren't very representative at
we're
the
in
moment.
Texas.
Oh, well, I guess it's horrible for everyone.
No, I was just wondering where in Texas are you? Like whereabouts? Like west, east? Don't have to be specific. Texas is a big state.
Yeah, it's kind of big.
Because I used to be in Houston.
Yeah, just the DFW area is pretty big.
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, it's like what, like 2 hours from west side of Fort Worth to east side of Dallas. Pretty ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for watching Six Gaming Podcast. We're here every Saturday when we have people, which is pretty frequent. There's like only a few Saturdays we've missed, but we're here at 10 p.m. Central Time. That's 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, and I am not converting to any other time zone because I don't know any of them. But yeah, you can find us over at the website six.gg. That's six.gg, where you can find everything about us, including our Discord server and our YouTube archive, all that kind of thing. So definitely check that out. And any last words? Any shout out? Self-promotion.
Yeah, like I just want to mention that my rebalancing project might actually be finished before the next podcast.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
You gonna have lots of turkey on Thursday?
Yeah, we have one.
Nice. I'm me and Kathy, we don't cook, but we do we found a place here called MacArthur Park that's just amazing. It's like a buffet, and they have all the turkey you could want. So, looking forward to it. It's gonna be delicious. I'll probably be asleep for days. The nice thing about going to buffet, by the way, no leftovers.
Isn't it all leftovers?
You don't take leftovers home.
Wait,
you don't have leftovers.
Wait, but isn't a buffet nothing but leftovers? Now that is deep.
That is deep. That is pretty.
That is deep.
Yeah. And I'm probably going to go back to streaming regularly, probably after December. I'll be doing streams here and there, probably some more Diablo things. I definitely want to get back into doing all characters. That's something that I want to knock out. So,
and also after I finish this whole rebalancing project, like shortly afterward, I'll be getting a new spot for my computer, and I'll be able to set up a microphone, and I'll be able to continue streaming. So,
excellent.
Hopefully, I'll get an affiliation soon.
Yeah, that's kind of a big thing, getting the affiliation, especially now with the achievements. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah, we should.
And the stuff that they basically tell you what you need to get affiliate and partner.
Yeah, it turns out I'm really, really close. All I need is a few more followers and an average of 3 viewers every stream. So.
Yeah, I'm at that. I'm 2 out of 3 for the partnership. But the third one is having 75 regular viewers per stream.
Yeah,
and that's tough. That is very tough. I mean, even the Observatory doesn't get that many. The Observatory is probably the biggest stream I do. But yeah, it's going to be kind of cool. So, all right. So I think that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching. Until next week, Solo, take it away.
Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.